Hello, everyone. Welcome back. Hi, I'm Chef JT. Happy to see you once again. Hello there, Mimic. Mimic? I'm still tripping over that one. Welcome in, JK. Happy to see you, Nan Raider. Welcome, welcome, welcome. I hope you're all having a lovely day today. Let's see, is this thing finally done making noise? No, we'll still need a couple more degrees. What's new? What's happening? Hopefully everyone's had a smooth start to their week. Mine's been a rather roller coaster day. Maybe ending in a high? I certainly think this dinner is ending on a high. As far as it being a roller coaster of a day, I think I was target of a scam today. I'm not 100% on it, and so I have a storage unit. I've talked about my storage unit before on stream before, which I hope is not the cause of this issue, but I went and paid my check for the month a couple days ago. Let's not even be exact about things like this. Exact same day later on, I get a text message saying that, hey, your account's not up to dealio. Except, me having handed them a check earlier that day. So I called them back this morning, since it's Monday, first thing. And the lady who's on the phone from this message is just insistent upon getting my gate code that's tied to my unit in order to figure out the account details for my unit. Which threw up all sorts of red flags in my mind because that's like a pin. Like, I'm not interested in sharing that. And so I turn around later on, I go down to the office once it opens a couple hours later, and they're not open, which is awesome. Posted open hours, they're not open. That's sort of like a new thing for them since the new ownership, though. Just about every time I'm over there, there's a will return sign or they're not there. And then I get there and I call the number that they have listed for that place, and the automated system for that place just automatically straight up picks up my phone number, says, oh, hey, hi Jason, you have such and such account, you're tied to such and such storage unit, your account is in good standing, you've paid everything. And just the way that lady this morning was so impressed upon getting my gate code in order to... I am so happy I didn't give her that code. Because I am almost certain, I have no idea how I got it. Yeah. Call the number later and it sounds exactly like the other phone number I called. It's just I talked to a person rather than the computer. So anyways, that was my day, or my excitement for the day. Hey, Splits. Well, that and my earbud is still continuing to give me some issues. Right now it's been bouncing between lower volumes and higher volumes. It's keeping a higher volume now, though, for long enough that I want to turn the volume back down. Now I hope it keeps it. It's sort of weird because it's typically with earbuds, it's a dirt issue. And this is like sounding like it's going between different, whether it's connected like as a headset or as music, or if it's something along that line. It sounds almost software-like versus something's in the way of the speaker. Why are you getting so excited about faces back there? Do you have, am I properly covering other things? Music, or the audio's gonna stop for a sec here. There we go. I don't think I have a little blackout thing for OBS so that it doesn't see my face up there when I'm facing this way. That's why I think was getting it to switch back and forth. That's happened to me before. Why'd this turn off? The battery's getting low. Did it say low and die? Some Escoffier style food there. You just need some peaches with your strawberry, your peach mel, you're missing the peaches for your peach melba. Thank you all for joining me. Cheers. What is going on here? Are you working or are you not, YouTube? That's looking okay. That's looking okay. All right, let's refill the kettle and get cooking. So we're gonna start off with tomatillos tonight. Just a couple. Oh hush, we've had enough of you tonight. So get our hands all sticky getting these skins off. You have any people unfamiliar with tomatillos, never worked with them before? Threw that last one out because it looked like it was stunted. I just sort of think of them as green tomatoes. They got that weird skin on them, but like you can either roast them with the skin on and peel it off, or you can do it before like I did now. They do have a little bit of a stickiness to them. They have some sort of like sticky ooze stuff around the stem, sap or something. Make sure, yeah, let's give a couple of these a rinse off here. So we're just going to broil these in the oven. Things broil a little better when they're dry. And then, depending on who you talk to, the shoulder or the heel side down. Hi, Alex. So we're going to give those a spritz with avocado oil. And we'll salt them. That's sort of my normal state, Alex. Like all of a sudden I'm parched, my lips are cracking, and I down like 3 glasses of water. It is not uncommon for me to take out a full one of these between the time it takes me to pour it and getting back to the living room. Alright, so now under the broiler. But we're going to have to keep a little bit of a watch under these because broiler's direct flame. It's a very easy way to burn things, and a little char on these is okay. I almost want a little char on these. That's sort of the plan here. Too much char is too much char. So directly underneath that. Sturgeon has to be Northern Hemisphere? That's interesting. Like, I know things are geographically isolated, but I thought we normally classify things genetically, not by where they are. Wait, there was some of that left, wasn't there? I had some onion left the other night. It's cheese. Yeah, but that's not animal name. Come on. Peel onion. There we go. What am I doing this for again? Oh yeah, soup. Hey, Soph. Let's take a look at our tomatillos. Nope, need longer. So we're going to saute onions while we're roasting our tomatillos. Meanwhile, over on the other side of the stove, we're going to get some chicken going. I don't know what happened. I'm going with Rockies lately. Rosie's. Rosie organic chicken. Boneless, skinless thighs are the same price, at least at my Safeway, as 80/20 beef. He dances. Oh, I'm out of large bags. No, I'm not. Silly me. I've got like a half ton of bags. I just don't know where I have them now. Where have I hidden them? I don't know where they're hidden. I don't know what that's doing down there, but okay, they can stay down there. The heck? Did I go through all of those gallon bags? I can't have. I had like a 4-pack of things from the warehouse store. I don't know what I did with it. They're hidden somewhere. I'm probably turning that pan to smoke behind me. Not quite. Turn those both off for a moment. Wrap up this chicken. Ooh, I hear tomatillos popping. Feel these up for any bone chips. I'm living with that. That'll work. I'm gonna salt these. And these are gonna get seared. The wiki didn't know what that word meant. It sort of sounds like Alon's favorite insult. Onions going on the other side. And I can't take it. I'm going to take another look at the tomatillos. They're starting to get some color. They're still starting to look nice. Saltwater crayfish, or freshwater crayfish from Western Australia. I sort of thought Western Australia was more like a desert. I really don't know Australia well. Like, I know their population is mainly on the coasts. And so I'm not really talking the West Coast, so to say, but, like, yeah. I know the US has a giant spy base in the middle of it. Salt in with our onions. No, it's that Australia is so isolated and separate from the US that it's like the perfect, like, we can beam satellite signals with no one sneaking information that we're sending on them to the satellites. At least I think that's what it is. Like I was saying, rosy chicken thighs. I went with I went with Rocky, which is the non-organic but free range. Rosy, which is the organic free range by the same, but they're both owned by Pardue. Boneless, skinless thighs, same price as 80/20 beef. Like, what? I didn't say that, captions. Nice. It has been a minute since I've made meatloaf. I'd probably make meatloaf at least once a year. More. We're getting close though. I'm gonna give those another 5. Really? Really? Yeah, not my original plan, but I'm not going to throw it out. I'm going to rinse it off and rinse off some of the stock with it. It's almost like ice is slippery or something. Yeah. Not my brightest moment there. It's still getting eaten though. Did someone time that? Was that 5 seconds? Has anyone seen the 5-second floor meme, the mashup with Braveheart? No. Hold. Wait until the 5 seconds. Heat off on these lovely onions that have now got some nice blistering char color to them, as if we had put them down there with the tomatillos. move the stock to the other side there. Nice. So we got our tomatillos nice and roasty toasty now. Nice char on the outside of them. A fair amount of them bursted. They've left a fair amount of juice. I'm going to dump these in there. Just wanted a little bit of stock in here with this. Give these a quick boil to soften up the jalapeno. This may be unnecessary on my part. We're going to blend it all. But I want to make the jalapeno soft before I blend it. All right, take the heat off on that. We're going to add these in with the tomatillos. And we're going to mute to blend this. And there we go. There is the basis of our soup this fine evening. We need to wait for the rest of our frozen stock to boil with our chicken. So what's going on interesting tonight? Anyone else got anything interesting going on? Anyone else trying to get scammed? Or anyone else getting scammed? Hey Dances, I sort of started it off with the beginning of the stream. I think someone tried to scam me with my storage unit, trying to get the gate code off of me. Bubble already. It's a scary world these days. Like, and it's not getting, like, people are hurting for money these days. Like, K-shaped economy. The people without money have less money these days. And we're going to strain this into the chicken and stock mixture to get some of the seeds and skin out. Nope. It could. It has sesame seeds in it. Actually, we're pretty much there. We've got our soup base now. We just need to make sure our chicken is cooked down enough that it's usable. We want to cook this a little bit longer, maybe another 30 minutes. So we'll keep that bubbling for a little bit. I do want to add a bit of garlic to this. I do want to add some pepper to this. Let's see, what am I forgetting in tonight's dinner? Oh, it's nose, I don't have the proper thickening agent for this soup. It says you can use corn tortillas or masa. I'm sort of okay with it as it is now. I don't want it super thick though. But it actually recommends using toasted pumpkin seeds that are ground as a thickening agent for this. This is a Guatemalan recipe, by the way. Alright, so we'll let that cook. We're going to do a little bit of rice on the side. Figures. Is ground pumpkin seed something you can easily purchase? You can probably find pepitas pretty easily. You could probably find toasted pumpkin seeds pretty easily. Check your bulk store. Bulk food store. If not, you can probably find them fresh and you can roast them yourself, or you can just buy a pumpkin and roast them. So I guess instead of, we ground it. So I guess we're sort of following in the proper footsteps here. Raiders. Welcome, Raiders. Jovio Juvian. What were we up to tonight? Were we cooking? Were we gaming? What's up, everyone? Thank you for joining me. Hi, I'm Chef JT. We're working on an interesting dinner tonight. It's Monday, so this is a little bit of my quicker night as far as quicker dinners. We're doing a tomatillo soup, a roasted tomatillo soup with onions and jalapeno and chicken thighs. And that's all bubbling in the pan there with some of my homemade chicken stock. So that's the main dish, pretty much there. Actually, I need to turn that down. That's bubbling too much. We're gonna turn our pretty green tomatillo color there to brown. We roast that too much, but we need to cook that chicken down a little bit more, soften it up a bit more, loosen it up a bit more. Hey there, Dinner with Mom. Stuffed peppers. Ooh, what type of peppers? With orzo, seitan, and lots of cheese. Yeah, gotta have cheese, stuffed peppers. Gotta have the cheese. Welcome in, Ghetto Bino. Hi, Ryua. I have no idea if I pronounced that anywhere close to proper. I was just about to get going with some rice here when all of you joined in. Nice. Good build. And I don't want to put that in there to get rice out. I guess we'll use one of you. I have all my rice over here in a giant bin up top that's hard to get to. I don't know why I do this to myself, but well, actually I sort of do. I put it on the top shelf thinking that I'm gonna actually get to it in some easy fashion other than the way that I'm doing right now. Like I'm gonna somehow lift that giant thing up above everything else that's on that shelf. But I also put it on the back of the shelf because this is California. It's gonna be really fun one day waking up to a full thing of rice on the floor. Then again, we had that, what, 4.0? Not too long ago in the South Bay? I didn't even feel that thing. Ah, making a mess of rice. This rice I've worked with, I'm trusting it to be okay without a pre-rinse. I sometimes rinse rice, I sometimes don't, depending on if it's rice that's instantly completely clouds my water. Or, yeah. This did end up pretty sticky last time though. Maybe we'll go a little heavier on the water this time, tonight. Some salt. Splash of lemon juice. Flame on that. And now I get to figure out where to put a lid, where I put the lid. Okay. So that's now on the stove there getting hot. Going back to the stuffed peppers, We were talking about stuffed peppers not too long ago ourselves. Is that Splits that brought that up last night? This is relatively approachable recipe if anyone likes tomatillos and haven't worked with it before. It's essentially I just blistered them in the oven. Sauteed up a little onion, a little jalapeno. Added some chicken stock. Blended that all up. And now I'm using it to finish simmering my chicken thighs in. It's rather amazing, after, like, when I first moved out to California, it was sort of like, okay, I live in California now, I have to worry about earthquakes, and would regularly look at earthquakes. There's earthquakes like every day. There's serious earthquakes like every day. A lot of them are in places where no one really lives. Like, there's ones almost every day in between U.S. and Russia out in the middle of nowhere, Alaska. Same thing with the forest fires. I also had that experience with forest fires. Like, there are so many forest fires going on at any one time. Just, what? I wouldn't say it's regular business for me. I don't know that I've felt an earthquake since I lived in LA. I don't want to feel an earthquake, but I don't think that I've felt one since I lived in LA. This is a relatively modern home, and I think the base on this has probably been the foundation on this has probably been well made. But I don't really know. I could just be lucky. And yeah, it is a little bit of a worriment, but yeah. And we want small movements too, as far as it goes. If you think about how earthquakes develop and what they're building up, they're essentially building up stressors. And so they have to slip by design, basically. So we want them to slip, we just don't want them to slip in major jolts. You know, 1, 2s, 3s all the time, that's fine. You get into the 4s, 5s, you start damaging stuff. Oh, I still got the broiler on. Why do I still have the broiler on? That's why it's so hot in here. Let's see what else we got going on tonight. Is the bot working with me tonight? Half. It's still telling me StreamerBot's disconnected, which means I'm probably going to have to manually do the analysis after stream, and I think recipes may be a lost cause for a little bit as I'm working on fixing the issues with those. As I said a while ago, I switched over to doing captions being handled entirely by SprinkleBot rather than I started off doing was stealing the captions that are right here off of my screen and using those for SprinkleBot. Now I have it directly reading from OBS and analyzing itself for recipes. The problem with that is it's basically starting over with doing the recipes because it has to relearn to do how to handle all the captions and everything, and I'm being much more comprehensive with what it's doing with the captions too, because it's classifying them for all sorts of things, not just making recipes now. All right, so we're to a boil there on the rice. So we'll cut the heat on that, and we'll let that sit. Also, speaking of scams, I had someone claiming to be from the newspaper of Harvard. I'm forgetting the name of it. Was it the Lampoon? Something along that line. Asking people that were streamers about AI. And I didn't really, I didn't want to have a conversation offhand, out of place. Like, they wanted to have, like, a live conversation, and I didn't want to, like, in this day and age, between me not being a great conversationalist and usually someone wanting to be live or in conversation is, we want to convince you to do something. And so I sort of turned that down. But that was an interesting thing, and I don't know if it was real or if it was what, or... I told them I'd love to give them info and answer what questions they have. I'm just going to do it by email if they want. I wasn't going to sit there and, be on record talking when half the time my mouth and my brain are not attached. Water. I had tortilla chips and guacamole for my lunch, so I still have spaghettis and meatballs in the fridge. It didn't seem wholly authentic either. Like, yeah, no. Again, sort of bat sense going, or spidey sense is going crazy. They gave me an actual Harvard email. They said things that weren't untrue, but the way they introduced it made me, they made it sound like it was the most impressive thing on earth, when really they were talking about all the achievements the people that were head of the paper did later on in their lives. Yeah. How long is it? I don't know much about that newspaper either. I don't know how long the terms of their people are. Like, I know there's several people that are like TV personalities that were part of that newspaper at one point, but nah, I don't really trust it to remove microplastics. I don't really trust it to do much of anything. I just like having cold water. But if it'll take something out. DDT. Fine era of DDT we have here. For those unaware, I live in Sonoma County, which is nothing but grapes and apples. The water, or the ground table here has to be so contaminated with junk. And all of our water is groundwater. I don't know how we're really going to get rid of microplastics. It's like they're everywhere. Like we're at a point here where places on Earth where people do not visit have had microplastics rained on them. It's everywhere. And the things we keep talking about doing are such marketing ideas, not realistic solutions. It's just... Yeah. Well, that's sort of the... We use plastics for... Like, we're not going to give up plastics. The military's already been there with that decision. Like, we're not giving up plastic. And really, the thing that we would have to get rid of if we want to get rid of microplastics in our environment would be tires. You want to get rid of your tires? I don't want to get rid of my tires. I like going places. I don't go places very often, but I like the ability to go places. I like the freedom to go places, but I would much rather stay at home and do nothing. But I like the availability. I mean, our love of plastic is so great at this point that we still use weed whackers. Like, weed whackers are designed to spray plastic. Like, it's how they're designed. But let's go ahead and ban straws, but exempt coffee houses, fast food, in any place that really straws are used, and just make busboys make sure they go in the trash. I'm making comment on California was trying to pass a straw law that exempted anyone but basically sit-down restaurants. Yeah. We would have to want to. And it's not going to be we would have to want to. It's going to be a government is going to mandate that you can't do the other type because people will still do it regardless. Well, they have mushroom programs that they have for using. They're using them more for packaging than tires. It's the first time I've really heard of them used for tires, but for packaging, they're like growing styrofoam packaging by having molds made for the proper things, and then the mycelium forms overnight or a day or two, and locks it into place. And it's just as strong as normal. I would think you could probably make a tire out of that. It'd have to be solid, probably not be nearly as nice of a ride. But like I said, I haven't seen it before, so I'm going off of what I know that they've done as far as like custom molded mycelium for all sorts of other products. Oh, they're more like the ones they use for like um, forklifts. The ones with they sort of flex, but they don't really. They bounce a lot more than they really. Checking the bot for food news and trends and restaurant news and cooking trends and see what's going on here that I haven't talked about on stream recently already. Or there's nonsense. There's a lot of nonsense here tonight, too. America is falling out of love with pizza. Restaurant chains are exploring strategy changes as sales slow for the food delivery mainstay. I have no idea the source of that. I don't trust the company that the page that it's on. It sort of fits. Like thinking about it, they do seem to be moving away from pizza a little bit. Wait, was that here? No. Don't play stuff that I can't. I hate websites like this. Let's see if we can't get this to stop redirecting. Nope. Well, I guess that site gets banned from my viewing. No more watching the Roanoke Times. Hey, Famoose. Alright, our rice is probably ready by now, I would hope. Let's see how our chicken's looking here. Is our chicken ready? Can we start breaking this apart? Yeah, I think we're good with our chicken. We can start doing some of that type of action to it. Let's give the chicken a quick forking. All right, so we got our rice not looking very cooked. That rice did not cook. What's going on here? That's not cooked rice. I brought that to a solid boil. Let it sit. What's going on here, chat? I don't know when I've had that happen. So we'll bring that back up to a boil. This is looking yummy though. Like, this is looking good here. It's not new rice, but it's not old enough that it's not gonna cook. Nah, I don't need a rice cooker. Rice cooker doesn't do anything that I can't do at the same time. It just brings it to a boil and lets it sit like I do. The only thing I'm thinking maybe is I just let it all sit at the bottom when I had brought it to a boil, and for some reason it didn't get properly equally temperature-wise. And here we were, I was just about to pour it. We were just about to wrap things up, and now we gotta wait for rice. Boo. I guess we got time for an ad. I didn't do that. That's automatic last 3 minutes. A boa constrictor. Yeah, we're doing double posts on Discord here lately. I don't know what's up with that bot. Let's make sure we're up to a full boil this time. Oh, are we getting laggy over here with the GoPro? Or are we getting jittery? I'm not sure what's going on with the GoPro still yet. I haven't changed a whole lot with it. I've mostly just disconnected and reconnected a bunch of times. It's even still connected to the same ports. But it does seem to be working a little bit there. A couple nights ago it was really bad. I don't know how many of you were around for that, but it wasn't working for a couple of nights, and for a couple of nights it was like stop motion / like pixelated / yeah. overlapping textures sort of a thing. Well, it's already looking a little more cooked now than it did before, but we're going to give this another. Wait until it gets fully boiling again. It is bubbling nicely, but I'm going further. And we're going to give it another 10 minutes under the lid. Alright, that's good there. We'll turn the heat off on that. Close that up. How do you know Shake Shack is a fast food restaurant for people that really shouldn't be eating fast food? This goes for any restaurant that does this, by the way, but especially Shake Shack. Shake Shack has introduced an Ozempic-friendly meal. So you're telling me you're a fast food restaurant with a meal designed for people on a diet where they're taking a pill that's like $900 a month? Danny Meyer, great guy. You know, read his books. You know, great restaurateur. That one's a little... Really? Yeah, I sort of saw those places like Shake Shack as sort of a death knell to fast food, too, at the same time. Because they were not, like... Chipotle, Shake Shack... Some of these newer fast food brands were, like, they weren't marketing to the same people. They weren't marketing to the same price points. They weren't... And they were taking market away. I didn't pay attention to when I put the cover on the rice. How long have we been waiting on the rice? Like 3 minutes? 2 minutes? Less? And I don't know that it's necessarily... And fast food... I guess I said it was dying earlier, but restaurants in general are just getting pinched from all sides. Like, first we had COVID. That was on top of the whole delivery craze that is not, you know, like, delivery is convenient for the people getting delivery. It's not convenient for the delivery drivers. It's not convenient for the restaurants. It's more expensive for all of them. And so, yeah, and burger places and that same with beef. But as I was saying for this stream tonight, like the I normally buy Rosie organic free range chicken, and it was the same price point as 80/20 beef at Safeway today. I mean, granted, it's organic chicken and Safeway beef, but same price. So I went with Rocky tonight. So we're not going organic tonight. Coming from the same plant, coming from Petaluma. Good old Purdue. And the other thing with fast food is fast food relied upon that sort of like the last mile delivery thing, that little bit of human interaction that created a product that was like better than what Cisco can sell you. And now Cisco is they're just selling you straight from Cisco or straight from Aramark or straight from we have so much just like Whole Foods is a largely to blame to this in my mind, but how much of fast food or supermarkets now grab and go foods? Like that same Safeway I was talking about today is at least 20% grab and go foods, if not more. So yeah, not fun. I'm also stretching chicken tonight between tonight and Wednesday. I bought one package for tonight and I'm going to use it for both nights. Yeah. That said, I have a pound of, a half pound of pork, a half pound of beef, and leftover spaghetti and meatballs, and ribeyes in the freezer, and pork in the freezer, and I really should be using up meat that I have at home instead of doing all these chicken dinners that I have this week. Oops. I'll give that rice another 3 minutes. Yep. Crab's getting up there. Hopefully no one needs to buy any RAM these days. You've done your upgrading. You've bought your computers. We had computers go up in price between Black Friday and the close of the year. And yeah. They're talking about them going up. People ready to sell their firstborns to get RAM for their AI systems. That was a piece of cooked onion that was stuck to the spoon, and I just threw it into the soup. Even though the soup's mostly pureed and smooth, I'm not going to complain about an onion in there. Yeah. I laugh at that. I shouldn't be laughing at that, thinking of the stories in Ukraine of Russian soldiers stealing appliances for chips in the early years of that war. Man, that's sad to be able to say the early years of that war and have it be an action. Like, man. I saw a video or a TikTok or something of someone desoldering the RAM on their GPU and doubling it with higher level chips, which I wouldn't be, like, even if I had the ability to do that technically with the soldering and floating solder and all that good jazz, I still would be afraid of doing that from the software end. I keep turning around to try and do things because I hate just standing still. And I'm not going to sit here and clean while I'm streaming. Like, I'll wipe down the counter and stuff like that, but I'm not going to sit there and do 20 dishes. Let's see if any of these are still usable. I guess that's a no, because I can't even see them now. Guess not. I had some chives in there somewhere. I'll find them tomorrow when I clean it out for the trash day. Okay, now we got rice. That's actual rice this time. So do some fresh pepper over the top. And we finish with sesame seeds. Other than sort of screwing up the rice at the end here. Pretty good. I think that plating turned out all right. Relatively certain this soup is going to be absolutely phenomenal. I like me some tomatillos. Onions and garlic and yeah. A little bit of jalapeno for a little bit of heat with all that chicken and chicken stock in there. I think that's going to be a winner. Do I put cilantro on top of this? I have freeze-dried cilantro. I'm sort of leaning towards no on that tonight. I'm not a cilantro hater, but I'm not always cilantro either. So there we have it, folks. So I'm going to be back here on Wednesday. Going to be doing not my normal ingredient challenge. It's the beginning of the year. I forgot to get the vote going, and so I delayed it a week. And so we'll have ingredient challenge next Wednesday. And this Wednesday, what did I put on the calendar instead of that? Pomegranate molasses and vinegar chicken. So the other half of this chicken, we're going to be doing more traditional chicken dinner night using the other two chicken thighs in there. Going to do roasted carrots, more rice, and we're going to use up the rest of that purple cabbage that I have in the fridge and make a purple cabbage slaw. Maybe a pickled purple cabbage slaw? I don't know if I'm going to do it pickled or not. I have a pickled slaw recipe that I do. Anyways, whether we do pickled or just regular slaw, we're going to do slaw, rice, roasted carrots, and pomegranate molasses glazed chicken. I hope you can come and join me for that. If not, we've got apricot glazed rib roast on Friday, or upside down apple brie and puff pastry tarts on Sunday, along with a ribeye dinner. Sounds like a delicious week of food. Let's see who's out there in Twitch land tonight. Why don't we do a little Lego action tonight? I'm going to send all of you lovely folks to go hang out with Brick and Nick, longtime Twitch streamer, longtime Lego builder. He sort of pushed I'm pretty sure he pushed the Lego category on Twitch. He has the most impressive room of all the bricks that you could ever think of. They're available for him to build all sorts of things. He's always building custom stuff. I hope you enjoy hanging out with him. I hope you enjoyed hanging out with me. And like I said, I hope to see you back here on Wednesday. I hope you have a great start to your weeks. Good night.